Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, James Protin. Every week I will be sharing the experiences that have defined my journey and talking with people who have their own powerful story to tell. It's about doing better and being better in life, business, and all things in between. The visually inclined can catch us on YouTube, or you can check us out on just about every podcast platform. Well, welcome to the podcast, everyone. We are in a little bit different place. We're at Mink Studio in South Point Town Center, and our guest today is Amy Taylor. Geez, Amy, I've known you a long time. I don't want to I'm old. Everybody knows I'm old, but you're just a youngster. I mean, you must have been in elementary school when we met.
It's been a number of years.
It's been a minute.
Good stuff, yeah.
It's been a minute. And Miss Kelly, well, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
I love being here. I love it here.
It's a happy place. Right?
This is fantastic. And we've talked about when we got together and we've had some conversations, and we talked about us doing show. You do other podcasts here, and we've seen those and really like the studio space. And whenever we go into a studio with certain guests, we really want to just be in here and shoot here. It's such a great vibe, and you've put together something really cool here.
Thanks. I try to make it special for everyone. I want to be able, I want everybody to be able to enjoy it and relax. And I think that the atmosphere lends itself to a conversation, and I think that starts the conversation off nicely. So if they're coming in here and they're nervous about shooting, or if they're nervous about, anything, we try to kind of put their mind at ease and just let them get lost in the space and just have a natural conversation.
Yeah.
Or a good shoot. So.
And there's so many different rooms that are here too, and they're all very creative. Every time I walk into a room, I don't know where to start looking and when not to stop looking. I mean, there's so much.
Sensory overload.
Yeah, it's funny because you can't see it in the frame, but it's like a rainforest in here.
It's like wisteria.
We wanted to use nature inspired. So.
Yeah, I love it.
Bring it to life. My James Copa, he helped us. He had a vision for. I wanted it to be, nature inspired is what we were going for. And he came in the one day with a live tree that he had cut. Well, it's not live whenever he brought it, but it's actually mounted to the wall. We set up a swing. Our walls are very interactive, so we encourage people to take selfies with them.
Sure.
So.
Oh, Jamie was swinging last time we were here.
Perfect. Yeah. See, that's what we want to hear.
We have a little video photos. He was swinging. And then there's a little couch that looks like lips that are out there. So you can
take that. Hello, gorgeous. I'm sure he was on that as well.
He was. He thinks he's gorgeous. He does. Yeah. Absolutely.
Listen, there's a bunch of little blue-haired ladies that think the same. Trust me. There's, if you guys were over 60, you'd understand.
Listen, charisma, wit,
just too young.
Keeps you young. Kelly keeps you young.
Yeah.
Too young to get it. Well, we
He's
have
like a brother to me.
Right?
Yeah, no, and it's true. It's true. Listen, my oldest child is just about her age. So.
How many children?
I have 3 kids and 2 stepkids. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you had 5 in total.
I have actually in December 3 of them will be over 40.
Oh my goodness.
My oldest daughter's 42.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah,
Time
it is.
keeps going by.
We
keep getting younger.
Yes, but we keep getting younger.
Right, true. And
he keeps getting more.
And your son was a little guy when we met.
Yeah,
he was. I saw a picture of him on your social media, and he's a grown man.
Nick is 26 years old.
That's
they
crazy.
moved him. He works for CI, and they just moved him to Orlando. Disney is his #1 account. He's engaged.
Nice.
Good
for you.
They're getting married May 5th of next year. So it's good stuff.
That's very
crazy.
good stuff.
It's time goes by.
May 5th, is that intentional?
Yeah, so they love Mexican food, and his last name is Seto, so they're going to do Cinco de Seto, and they're getting married in Nashville. I've never been, but they say it's a beautiful place, and everyone should visit. So
it's wonderful. Yeah, it is.
We were just talking about Nashville.
Yeah. It's a tremendous place. It's like the quintessential college town. It's just really cool.
Really?
Oh yeah, you'll love it there.
I'm excited to visit. So
yeah, you'll love it there. So let's talk a little bit about your business, what you do here. Now, you've kind of morphed a little bit into Mink. You were Creative Visions before?
I was Creative Visions before, and then I transferred out of that. You live and learn. You go through things in business, and I think everything kind of leads you to the right path if you just kind of open your eyes. I think in business, one thing that I learned, you have to be morally on the same page with who you are doing business with. You don't,
Right.
you know, I think one of my mentors told me a long time ago, you don't have to like everybody that you do business with, but that moral compass has to
You have
be
to be on
there.
the same
It
plane.
just did not work.
I agree.
And
I agree.
couldn't be happier. So at Mink, I put the name into me and myself, my son Nicholas. So that's kind of like where Mink originated from. We say market, integrate, network, create, because it's kind of like what we do is more than just marketing. We do a lot of the strategic marketing, any of the creative services.
Right.
We'll step in and fill the need of an internal marketing team on an external basis, and we work on an agency retainer. But since we had the studio space for the production setup, and then podcast and video podcasting has become so popular, we went ahead and built out the studio space for both. And then we got into doing Mink Studios, where somebody can come in and run it by the, a 2-hour period, a half day or a full day.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Of everything that you do here, which is your favorite?
I love the planning aspect of it, the business side of business. So that way we can kind of just, taking it from an idea to reality and just watching how it morphs into something so great and seeing the end result. So.
Yeah, and you've represented some really high-profile clients, some large corporations, and really all of the firms that are around here in South Point, the natural gas industry. You've been very successful navigating in those waters.
I've been I feel like that has just changed our entire region. Oil and gas.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People ask me, what do we specialize in? It's not really a specialty. I do a lot of healthcare. That's my background, and then I have a lot of opportunities within the oil and gas from.
Right.
Where you wouldn't really, what's a marketing firm doing inside an oil and gas? But we worked with one company, and we did for 1 year, we went around to do all the interviews of their key clients to see where they might have missed opportunities, or if there was something wrong. We put together a whole recommendation. They ended up acquiring 2 companies off of our recommendation, and they were able to sustain and move forward. And then we did, the next year, we did the plan to help them really package everything and secure their contracts in a good next 3 to 5 years. So I love working with the visionaries, these CEOs that have this passion. They're just incredible whenever they stay on path and on track. So I'm very blessed for those opportunities. And that's my favorite part.
Good. Well, and every company needs marketing. Every company needs that type of branding, marketing strategy, content creation. It's the world we live in today, right? With social media and everything. It's not like the old days when you could put an ad in a paper or you run a commercial on television. There's so many different platforms out there. And it doesn't matter the market sector. Whether it's energy, engineering, healthcare.
Everybody needs a plan.
Everybody needs a
and
plan.
if you don't,
And a lot of people don't really, when you talked about marketing integration network, a lot of people, when they think about a marketing agency, they just, they think about pretty pictures and video and things like that. They don't just understand the technology and everything that goes behind
and the strategy behind what they're doing, because
you can't just roll a video out on social media and think it's going to be successful.
Right. No, you fail to plan, you know what I mean? Fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you really do have to have an end game. We always start with the end game, and we build a path into where we want to go. And I think that's what allows us to be successful for our clients.
Yeah, strategic planning is
huge.
watch for everything you're doing, but knowing how to put everything into play as well, and having the right people that are with you too,
and timing. Timing is everything. Again, when you put out that video, when you put that piece on, whether it's Instagram or on LinkedIn or whatever, where you place it and when you place it is just as important.
Yep, and the messaging behind it. Everything has to have a purpose, right? So the why you're selling what you're selling, I think, is instrumental to the end result of what you're trying to accomplish. So,
and that's a skill. That's a talent, is selling somebody without selling them. Because nobody wants to be sold to.
No.
Everybody wants information. They want to learn about things, but they won't want to be sold to.
Right.
Right. And some places have that whole, well, we've always done it this way.
Yeah, and then they won't change.
The places that say that are the places that are usually going out of business. Or the places that say, I never advertise. I don't have to advertise. I have all the places I want. And then the next time you see them advertising is going out of business sale.
That's right. That's right. Unfortunately, it's
true.
I
say it's relationship building. It's maybe they view it the wrong way. Maybe it's the wrong word that they use. because I feel like everybody has to have touch points.
Sure.
You know, we always say like McDonald's, like they advertise. Why do they advertise? Everybody knows McDonald's, but it's still that top of mind awareness that you want to create, and the relationships and the experiences I think are so important now. And everything's so saturated, so it's harder now to stand out.
I have said that and used that example so many times.
Yeah, see?
When people talk about advertising, I said, there's a reason that McDonald's is still advertising. You know McDonald's, you know those golden arches. Why do you think they're still advertising? There's a reason for that.
For sure.
Everybody has to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They need to do something about the Hamburglar, though. He's gotten a little creepy over time. So that has to change.
You're talking about
somebody
getting creepy?
We need to talk to the Hamburglar. So the Hamburglar's got issues. But no, you're absolutely right. And that strategy piece is something that a lot of firms like yours gloss over. They jump over that piece because that takes the effort.
Right. And even to their maybe it's not their skill set, but to understand that that's okay too. But to bring in, if that client needs something, you have to be able to know your strengths and your weaknesses better, right? You don't want to see the client. We see that. We run into that so many times. And I'm okay. We work with a lot of different agencies. I don't need to be the expert. If we're not the expert in one area, I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that we do what we say we're going to do, and you'd be surprised at how much business we win just because of that.
Right.
So.
Well, that's being able to have an ego that's correct, and you can put your ego aside.
There is no ego. I tell my client, I tell the creatives that I work with, I'm like, if you want to be Picasso, this is not the firm for you, because we're not there. You know, we're getting contracted to bring our client's vision to life, and that vision has to work. So we're going to be accountable on two fronts. It needs to look the part, it needs to do the part. So, and to each their own. I have the boardroom, the controversial, legendary boardroom here because of the sign. But I mean, I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan, and he, you know, I believe like people just stop short of where they want to go in life, and then they're very upset or bitter, and they become very resentful. And I don't want to ever live that way, and I don't want to see people have to live that way. So the sign says F average, be legendary, and I always tell people, and I encourage them to go after whatever your legendary is, because if you believe you can, you will.
100%, 100%. I agree with that, man. Because most people, when they encounter an obstacle, they see the obstacle and it's like, oh my goodness, there's no way I could. It's a mountain. It can't. I wrote about that in my blog today. You can't get past that. But really, you're not supposed to conquer the mountain. You don't have to conquer the obstacle. You got to conquer yourself.
Yep.
What's inside you is what you have to wrestle with.
What is driving you?
Right.
And identify with that, and then go get it.
That's why that old adage, it's not business, it's not personal, it's business. That's a lot of BS, because all business is personal. Knowing your clients, knowing your team, knowing your audience that you're guiding your client to. That's all personal. That's relationship building, like you said.
Yeah, and I always try to put myself in the client's shoes. Whatever dollars they have to spend, they are trusting you with those dollars that you're going to accomplish what, with their vision. And that's hard to do. As a business owner, it's hard for me to put my trust in others to be able to do that. So I always try to walk in their shoes, and I just want to make sure that we're able to do far beyond what they're expecting.
That's admirable.
Yeah, thanks.
You want to
really
under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the key. Manage expectations and develop those personal relationships. That's critical.
I always tell people, if you're chasing money, you're never going to be successful.
I never operate like
you have to chase, helping people. You have to chase, helping charities and just being part of the success of a business. Don't chase their wallet.
Because I get to share in the reward, and the reward is watching them grow. And if I'm good, if we do what we say we're going to do and we stay on that path, that's why I think we've had the continued success with our clients. I don't lose my clients. Like, they have stayed with me, and I'm so fortunate and blessed to, having had changed companies, and, you go through through life, and but I've been fortunate enough to have them stand beside me, and here we are today. So.
Now, every time I talk to you, you're always talking about community, community, community. You're all about where you're at, where your business is. And then you have so many just incredible thoughts about what you should be doing and just innovated. So what is it that you have coming up?
I work for Horizon. I actually lease the space from them, and they have the majority of the buildings here in South Point. And just with with COVID, we haven't really been doing the events as much. Yeah. But so we wanted to create something super special and really try to get behind an event that was meaningful and purposeful. And I know Washington County, Kelly, I'm not sure where you're from, but there's a great divide. Like, people will not drive. There's invisible borders all over.
I'm a Washington County kid.
I'm in South Park.
Okay.
But if I pick up a stone and throw it, I'm in Washington County.
Okay.
And my parents live in Finleyville.
Okay. So you might have been crossing borders, but there's just Green Tree back. It's like Washington hits, Washington's more inclined to come to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't really come to Washington. So we went
that's very true.
So we wanted to bring the best of this region right here to South Point Town Center. So on November 4th, we're going to be doing the Great Yinzer Tailgate, and it is going to be an iconic marketplace, all things great in this region here in and we're going to have our own game day tailgate experience.
Cool.
So we're going to have a stage, and there's so many hidden gems and things that have come out of Pittsburgh. We really want to showcase those people and places and things. So we're going to have a stage. We're going to have a huge pep rally to open up our opening ceremony.
Okay.
We're going to have a lot of the mascots and food trucks, concession, all of your Pittsburgh favorite merchandise. We have Jagoff hosting it, so John and Rachel will be here. So they're going to do the Great Yinzer Olympics. With some fun, strawberry Jell-O salad eating contest.
The pretzel. Yes. So, they love that.
We're going to try to break a world record with the biggest pierogi. Currently, it is held by Rivers Casino at 123 pounds. So hopefully we're going to be able to come in at 130.
Wow.
And then, again, because we don't want food to go to waste, we're going to see what we can do to repurpose the food and actually take it down and do some potato casserole to a food bank or shelter.
Sure.
So,
wow, that's very cool.
Yeah, and then we're hoping we put the letter request out, but we're going to have a legend, our first Hall of Fame or iconic legends that have come out of here and tell their stories, and we're just waiting to announce who that's going to be for this year. But it will go to their home. But we're looking for somebody who bridged the gap between Washington and Allegheny County and really brought success here for the county. So
there's a few people that come to mind. That's great.
So if you have anybody, I'm looking for these hidden stories on people. We have somebody that actually writes for Faith Hill, and it's like a lot of your favorite country artists. So we're going to try to do a feature on her. We have obviously you have your staples that have done things here, and then pull out the fun facts, like the emoji was created here out of CMU.
There's all kind of things. Mr. Yuck, remember Mr. Yuck stickers?
He passed away today.
Yes.
Really?
More Terry, I believe. I don't know.
No
Just
kidding.
we're talking about that.
No kidding.
I can't believe you knew that.
Banana split. You can have a banana split. Banana split truck.
The Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel. You're exactly right.
Wow.
So we got a lot of good things.
Like you have years of knowledge.
Decades. Listen.
Wisdom. Distinguished wisdom.
I know.
It was like an exchange. Years, wisdom.
Right.
I'm 136 years old. That's
Where
what
did
happens.
all this come from? Where do you just woke up?
We've been trying to think of the right event to have here that could kind of bridge that gap for us. And living in Washington County, I was always envious of everybody who got to go to Pittsburgh. I was always forced to stay in Washington. So this has been a manifestation since probably high school years.
So this was like you were 16 and you started to develop this.
Yeah, and Matt Tallarico actually popped in here one day, and he's with the Post-Gazette.
Yeah.
And we just started comparing notes, and they were like, we should do something that's Pittsburgh related down here. And then we were just, making fun of the way people talk downtown, and the Yinzerese, or the Pittsburghese. So I feel like they were like, completely on board with this idea, so we were able
Right.
to pull this together, and we were able to pull it off, I think, because of their support as well. So it's
And
been
I
great,
love
Chelsea
I love
and
the
Jamie.
concept of a tailgate, because I mean, Southwestern Pennsylvania, not just the Steelers, high school football, college football. I mean, that's what we're all about, right?
We want to get everybody involved. So that pep rally, I want to invite all the different high schools, hopefully their cheer squad bands, and so they're going to be able to come down and participate, the mascots. I mean, we can't do it. It's a community event, but this is a way to bring everybody together.
Absolutely.
Nobody needs to be in silos anymore. We all need to work together to keep this place.
That would be, and that's another thing that I think Pittsburgh invented was silos.
Yeah.
Because
for
that's
sure.
something, from a business perspective, getting back to that, even communities.
Yep.
There are communities that are struggling, just dying, but they don't want to give up that, oh, wait, I'm from here. This is me. Those silos have to be.
Yeah.
They got to be knocked down.
Yeah. So we'll knock them down.
Yeah,
One silo
absolutely.
at a time.
What do we have? Washington County, 200,000 people in 67 communities.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's insane. My buddy Jeff Couture and I, we talk about that, and there's a guy you need to consider for. Jeff is
for sure. Well, we are actually.
good.
Well,
Jeff's one of the good guys.
We definitely need the chamber and tourism involved here.
Yeah.
So because they're a huge part, and Jeff's vision has brought this. He's definitely been transformative for Washington County in pushing industry forward and helping jump through
Absolutely.
loopholes and inviting them in and making them feel warm and welcome whenever they get here, especially oil and gas. So.
Well, and a lot of people look at Washington County, and again, I was born and raised in Charleroi, and when I grew up in Washington County, until I graduated from
Way
high
back.
school
Frank
and left,
throw a nickel.
it was gas was 25 cents. Gasoline was 25 cents, and when you went in, they still cleaned
At
your
Nick's?
windows and checked your oil. But I didn't own anything that didn't come from Charleroi, Washington County until I moved to California when I got out, state of California.
Yeah.
Everything, bike, clothes, food, everything was right
Because
there.
they never left. They
We
did
didn't-
not cross the border.
We didn't have to.
No.
And Pittsburgh was a million miles away.
Yeah.
What was the beer? The guy you attacked?
Mr. Kelly.
Stoney's.
Stoney's, yeah.
Oh.
Stoney's, sure.
So we were doing a podcast at a restaurant, and a
Okay.
guy had a Stoney shirt on, working in a kitchen in the back.
In Pittsburgh.
And this one, I thought he was going to jump through
No,
the
I
pass
said,
through.
we just where I was sitting, my perspective, the guest was like this, and I happened to glance up, and the kitchen was right there. It was open.
Yeah.
And there was a kid back there, and he had a Stoney's T-shirt on. I'm like, dude, I went over and gave him a hug, man. I mean,
What
it's like,
did you do?
I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, he's got a Stoney. I'm like,
Stoney's is,
we're in the middle of a
Stoney's
podcast.
now technically is, although it's brewed up but it's Charleroy's beer. It's
Yeah.
Washington County.
Yeah.
And when John McCard and John King, when they brought that, they redid that brand and brought it back to life. Our mutual friend, Mike Malone, did all the design and
he's
everything.
getting excited over beer.
I am. Listen, beer's like my thing. But that all, again, even to bringing Mike Malone in to design the new logos and all that stuff, that is all Washington County.
Yeah, it was just super
It's very
exciting,
cool.
and we have that.
Yeah, see, I
conversation
get really worked up over it.
I
Me too.
guess.
Hands start flying.
Well, this poor
Yeah.
kid in the kitchen was like, who is this
Yeah, I
guy?
know.
Why
But
is
it
he
ruined your map.
attacking
Oh,
me?
yeah.
And
Oh, it's good.
yeah, it was. I mean,
It was
there's a
interesting.
restraining order now, but
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I can't
His
go
face.
back to that restaurant.
Right.
I'm going. They have, but no, it was
there's
worth it.
His
It
headshots
was-
there with the big circle and
Yeah, in a line through it. Yeah, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth it. So it was very cool.
Yeah, and then something else we have coming up. So I spoke to Rod Pyatt and Mike Swisher and Dan Baxter and Gina. They want to be able to host something fun for the holiday season too. So I think we're going to put something together festive in the park area for kids Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. So that way they can come. So those details are still being worked out, but I think that's going to kick off December 1st. So we're back. And then if
just
you
for
have
That's
kids,
very
or
cool.
can adults play too?
adults can definitely play. So we're trying to bring some selfie stations and just like
Nice.
fun Elfie
Yeah.
stations,
Elfie stations. That's
selfies.
very cool.
Why do
Yeah.
I see eggnog in someone's future? It's not mine, but I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, beer eggnog maybe, but that's I'm not an alcohol guy, but no, this is. I mean, everything that you're doing here. I mean, I really love how engaged in the community you are, and not only at this level doing work, doing business, but also at street level, which is really, really cool because a lot of business owners don't get out there on the street.
No,
You know,
true.
and that's important.
It is so important to have your community be engaged, and I love to support any way that I can. I think that it's, you know, it's very purposeful, and I mean, even in our world, we make a lot of great things, and you see, but the companies, we're all about to give back, you know, and the ones that I work with, and we have the opportunity to do so, you know, they encourage us to do, and I would love to be involved, so.
All right, so family life, what's that like for you?
So family, I mean, I think they say God puts his toughest, God puts his toughest soldiers, what's the expression? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
But unfortunately, my mom passed away of breast cancer in 2008. So then it was like me and Nicholas, and I have a brother. And my brother was, unfortunately, he has also been affected. I feel like drug use in this area especially is highs and lows, and we are
a major problem for us.
Epidemic proportions. So Jason lost his battle 3 years ago to addiction, and what I think is sad. So just a passion project. I think that we need to create a sustainable path. We're calling it a pathway of hope. I have all my walls. I have one wall empty here at Mink because I want to do a butterfly, because I feel like everybody has wings if you help. You know, everybody can fly. You just have to have a purpose in life. And I think that these guys and gals have lost their purpose. And I don't know,
That's right.
Nobody's teaching them how to get reacclimated with society. We use the criminal system. It's like a Plinko board. They can either fall to the bottom, and then they use the criminal system, and they never get out. And what I want to do is kind of create the sustainable path. So if they agree to kind of relinquish, I don't know how, you know, it's all coming together, working with some pretty sophisticated teams to try to see what we need to do to build and develop this program that would keep them on a sustainable life path. So if they choose to relinquish their rights and they understand that they're going to go through, it's not just a one and done, you're going to relapse 7 to 9 times. And
that's exactly right.
And society needs to understand that as well, you know. So if they fall off and they self-harm and they're in this cycle, it's not going to set them back to where they fall completely down. We're going to be able to build them back up, and by putting them on their life path and figuring out where their void is. You know, if they had child trauma and they need the counseling and the support, if they had if they're not able to drive and or maybe they're not educated, we need to build them systematically, because right now the system is broken and there's no support for them. And then we also need to acknowledge that it's not a one and done. It's going to be throughout their lifespan. So we want to make sure that they're connected
never ends.
to this care team. And
I think you're right.
better.
Once you're an addict, or you know, whatever, you're always that. You know, you can be clean and sober, but you still are an addict. We had a young fella, Joey Pagano, on the show, and I think the world of this young man, because he was about as bad as you could get, right? I mean, he actually told the story of sitting on a curb in Charleroi, and what was his last day? He was ending it. That was it. And he said, you know, the way he told the story, that he reached his end day, it was going to end his life. And that is powerful. Now, he's been clean and sober for a very long time, and he's an advocate. He's involved with Club Serenity down in Washington County. But Joey's a super, super guy. Be a great resource for you to bring into what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I would love to. We're going to try to, you know, just build this team, and we want to have these success stories, because that's the thing. I feel like you need more success stories to help encourage those. And I think it helps the ones that actually have led a successful path in recovery as
Absolutely
well.
Does. Absolutely does. And, you know, every business needs a soul, my friend, and you've created a business with a soul in this space, in everything that you're doing outside of here and in the community. You have really done that. This Mink has a soul, and that's so impressive.
So do you guys, though. I mean, that's what makes a difference. That's what we need the good to come together and just kind of keep putting these messages out there. So thank you for saying that. But
and you know,
I feel the same.
From that, you see, that's why I feel that, you know, when we've talked in the past, the three of us all thought that there's opportunities for us to collaborate in a lot of different ways outside of podcasting, but that's the reason. It's not business opportunity as much as that soul connection that leads you, again, down the path that you're supposed to be walking, but it makes the connections that your head doesn't let you make.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you see certain people and you take them, because we're all superficial to a certain extent. We're humans. That's what we do. We see somebody and say, "Oh, or you're embracing. But when you have that connection at that level, that brings so many more people to the forefront for you.
No, it definitely does. And I look at root cause for everything, right? Or that root problem, or where is that coming from? What's their driving force? I think that works in every aspect of life. So if you can identify that and you can kind of get there and then just start peeling back, you would take that person that's super pretentious, or you might have that different, you'll see a completely different opinion whenever you take a minute to walk in their shoes and just kind of, a minute instead of passing judgment, try to, just understand them.
Well, no, that's 100% true. My favorite book and movie of all time is To Kill a Mockingbird. Right?
Okay.
And there's a line in there where Atticus Finch is talking to Scout, and he says, "You never really know a person until you climb inside their skin and walk around a bit." Right? And that I've never forgotten that. I read it for the first time 50 years ago. Back before there was electricity, I used a candle. And but it stuck with me. That stuck with me. And there again, talking about Washington County and growing up, when I was a kid, this part of Washington County was nothing.
Yeah.
It was down there on the river that really carried the county. I mean, that's where everything was. You had Shawbury, Monongahela, Donora, California. There were 40,000 people in those communities, right? On steel mills, and there were jobs, and everything was great. And this was farms. It was you had Washington, and that was it.
Yep.
But now the roles have reversed, and the county is going in such a really cool and exciting direction. From my perspective, I absolutely love what's happening here. I really do.
Same. The evolution is exciting.
Yeah.
You would not believe how many, because I do business everywhere, right? But everybody I bring into South Point Town Center, outside first, they're like, we didn't know this was here.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, how is this possible? It's been here for at least 10 years now. So I'm like, how? But they love it. They're like, it's a vacation feel. We have free parking. You have a safe environment. I'm like, how do you? I'm like, of course you're going to love it. I'm like, duh.
Yeah. What's not to
so
love?
Long?
You have free parking.
Right. I mean, you can't be and ample parking. Like it's
Right.
great. There's a whole parking garage in the event that we are full.
I have an important question.
Sure.
Have you noticed? Has your business suffered from being here rather than in Allegheny County or the city of Pittsburgh?
No, I think it's actually prospered because of
Thank you.
here. But I've always been Washington County should be, and it's been very good. And the industries to come out of here or evolve to watch what's grown. Where the oil and gas industry has grown to. It's just exciting. And
It is.
And
It is.
everybody in such a good wholehearted group to watch that evolution.
And I think a lot of people, not only in Allegheny County, but outside of Washington County, look at us as simply being the benefits of being in the right place at the right time, right? We've got the Marcellus Shell. We've got the casino, the Meadows Casino, right? So that has made governing and growing and that evolution that much easier. But what they don't see is the decades of hard work, of blood, sweat, and tears that got the county to the point where that could even happen.
Right.
Right.
And that's some of the things that we want to bring out at Tailgate too, because these stories, if they didn't choose to invest here, or if they didn't see the opportunity, if they didn't have the vision to, just take that minute to invest here instead of someplace else, we wouldn't have this today. So I'm very appreciative.
Look where we're at right now with Consol CNX, right? Consol's a 150-year-old Western Pennsylvania company, right? Whatever the years are, but it's a lot. And, the coal business has struggled in recent years, but they found a way to continue to invest locally in the gas industry and all of the things that we're doing here. And, there's still leaders in the business community here and after all that time.
And they have to pivot. They have to learn to pivot. And that's why it takes strong leadership, and you can't fear change, And that was the same thing with the company I was talking about before. Coal was they used their product in coal. That's and then whenever things shifted, that was 80% of their business, and they had to pivot, and that's why they had to take the time to kind of go back and say, what do we need to do now? And they did it very successfully. So, but you need that leader that has vision, and you can't be resentful because they want to change. You have to have a team buy-in and
Absolutely.
yeah, be excited.
Well, I think more and more, businesses are coming down to South Point and this area. I mean, to the point that last year, Sabika, they're Pittsburgh owned,
Yep.
Pittsburgh ran, and they had their fashion show that they have every single year.
Okay.
They had it downtown last year,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yep.
And this year, they had it in the building right behind here.
Oh, really?
I was just there, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Don't tell my husband. But it was
That's very cool.
It was fantastic. I
Yeah.
mean, there was 100 women that were there for the fashion show there, and
That's awesome.
free parking.
Yeah,
you know?
free parking. The Loft Conference Center is amazing. 10,000
Yes.
square feet. Like you can break
Right.
it off into small rooms. We can host conventions there. I want to be able to bring collaborations and from a medical wellness day to
Absolutely.
to industry. Like so, there's so many
Yeah.
things. You
It was
can
a
do
great space. The whole bottom floor, and they had things separated for you could buy jewelry right there, and you could watch and see the show in the other room. And
Love it.
it was fantastic.
It'd be a great
So-
place for a small business kind of expo or conference.
Or lunch
you know?
and learn. Maybe we can bring in some keynote
Yeah.
speakers like
Yeah.
Tony Robbins. Like
Right.
if we can get him and like, just have a really cool
Yeah.
day for business.
I agree. I
But
think
bring
it's
people
fantastic.
in that you're not accustomed to seeing here.
I love that there's hotels down here now. That was no. I mean, there was always the Hilton.
Yeah,
There
we
was
have the AC. I mean, nice hotels. You know what I mean? Like
Nice
they've
hotels. You're
invested
exactly
here.
right. Because in the beginning it was the Hilton Garden Inn.
Yep.
And that was
Right.
it. But now there's options, and that's always great. I mean, sure, we're blessed to have what we have. But again, there was a lot of hard work that went into getting to the point where we could accept that,
Yep.
where we were ready to receive it.
Yep. Yeah. We just got to get out of our own way sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And our leadership has done well. I mean, I think we would be remiss if we're talking about Washington County not to give some kudos to the commissioners, not just the three that are sitting there right now, but the last couple of generations, thinking about guys like Harlan Schober and Bracken Burns, and people who have, again, rolled up their sleeves and laid the groundwork for us as a county, as a government, to be able to receive the blessings that we've gotten.
Whoa, I was with Washington Wild Things whenever they came in, like their inaugural year, right? Like they, Stu, Rob, Jeff, all those guys that took the time to, right pronto, they all invested in a ball field, a minor league team to come here to Washington County.
Yeah.
And how
North
fun
Franklin
are
was-
those?
Right. I mean, so many.
it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
It's amazing.
Great marketing.
Look at
Great
Pony
marketing.
Baseball. Look at Pony Baseball. Something that's been around for 75
Pony League
years.
World Series.
Pony
Like,
League
you
World
just
Series.
gotta- I mean,
I always try to catch a game. I didn't this year, but I try to catch a game. And I went to a game a couple of years ago, and it was Chinese Taipei, against, I believe it was a team from Mexico.
okay.
And obviously, that's a long way to come. But there were a bunch of students from CMU and Pitt who were, they all came out, did a game. They had signs. They were the atmosphere was cooler than anything you've ever seen with the Pirates. It was absolutely amazing. The people that turned out for these young kids, it was fantastic. But that whole thing has just been completely, again, by tourism and by the chamber, been rebranded.
Yeah.
Okay, to something where it's a major event on the scale of the Little League World Series in Williamsport, and it's just an amazing thing.
No, it has, and it's exciting that it's all here.
Yeah,
so-
Whiskey Rebellion, and when you can go to places in Washington County where history literally happened, right? The exact spot where the Whiskey Rebellion started is right there.
George Washington, Bradford House, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
It's true.
So and the tourism industry has embraced history.
Yes.
Right, so it's not boring anymore.
No.
To go and see. That old joke. Oh, George Washington slept here. We slept everywhere. No, wait a minute.
That's what they said.
But it's like So there's. But I think the way again to pivot and to evolve, that historic tourism, for lack of a better word, is something that's really growing. It's huge. It's a major industry.
Yep.
Just so you know, they said that about him too.
I know. Well, I've seen a lot of it. I experienced a lot of it. I was there, for a good bit of it.
Well, we're coming to the end of our time.
Okay. Well,
So,
thank you guys for having me on. I'm so excited.
Thanks for hosting us and having us here. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more shows here. I love this and what you've created here, and
Thank you.
and also collaborating and doing some work in that marketing space and everything that we do. That's it's just a great fit. I'm really excited about it.
And Jamie keeps telling me to come without him, so.
Yeah, well, you can come here anytime.
Absolutely.
Come on down,
You know,
for
that's
sure.
the thing. You know,
Hell, I mean, we can definitely collab on different projects, you know.
oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Because, you know, we all bring a different skill set.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
Like
and that's perfect. That's perfect because there's not a lot of overlap.
No.
You know?
And even, I mean, there's strengths and weaknesses, but I feel like we kind of come together to create something so special. And even if it's the best idea is always multidimensional in some facet. And that's
Absolutely.
what everybody's able to bring. And that's-
Well, and you know, when you think about Amy, you know, you've in the marketing advertising space in Pittsburgh, there's a lot of firms, from the large national firms to small boutique firms. And if you're going to compete with those bigger firms in that space, it takes a company like yours, like mine, with Mike Malone, with this, with that, those smaller firms that have niche experience coming together to offer a full service kind of turnkey opportunity, then you can compete with the Bruners of the world and those larger firms.
And like I don't even look at like competition as competition. Like
Right.
people get fixated on this.
I want
you know?
everybody to win.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
if I can do my part to help,
Yes.
I have a strong relationship with my clients. I'm not mad if they are working with somebody else, and I
Absolutely.
encourage them
Absolutely.
to do so. You know,
Absolutely.
So we all need to work together and work better working together.
That's what I've been doing for years.
Yep.
Last
Yeah, you were
question,
the
and we
network
have time
queen.
for this because we have to cut out the piece where I threw coffee on Amy. So we have to edit that out. So we have a little bit more time. The kind of the foundation of the show when I first started it is the 5 pillars that my father taught me: live, love, learn, pray, inspire. Right?
Love that.
Those are the 5 pillars,
Yeah.
and I try to live my life that way. But that's kind of what we built. The blog I write in this show. So of those 5, take one and tell us what one means something to you and why.
I think you have I think live, love, learn. I mean, those 3 keep you going in life. And then once you're
Exactly.
so
Pray and inspire.
Pray and inspire, because you have to pray. I mean, everybody needs to pray. I think the devil's working. My friend Bryn always tells me, she's like, devil's working triple time. And I'm like, so we need to just kind of like it, but it's true.
Right.
Like you can't let, you
That's
just got to
exactly
get past
right.
things. So I love the 5.
Well,
and I
good.
think
I
you need all
appreciate
5.
that.
If you just do 1 or
You
2,
do.
you're
Yes.
going to be.
Yes, you can, because you can get too focused on one or the
That's
other.
right.
Everything's
It
about
needs
balance,
balance.
right?
Yes, I say that. Nothing so.
Well, thank you so much
Thank you both.
for being such a gracious host and joining us on the show. This was great.
Thanks for
we
having
appreciate
me.
it.
Anything I can do to help
I
and
get the
support,
feeling you're going to be back again.
we're going to be doing some great things, so watch out.
There you go. All right.
Thanks.